Welcome, welcome, hello everybody to the start of this week's MRC tier action. Tonight is Monday night and that means one thing and one thing only. It is the return of tiers 2 and 1 live here on YouTube. Tonight we are in the wonderful, wonderful country. This is Canada. Oh, Canada. And we are in what is known to many people in real world of F1 as one of the favourite tracks of many drivers and many fans alike. That is the Montreal circuit, which is known as the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, named of course after the former Formula 1 world champion. But speaking of champions, tonight you will not just be listening to my annoying silly voice, you will be graced with a man who speaks French because he lives there, which is a language which is spoken fluently in this part of the world. And of course, the French Canadians, our resident Anton will be our resident French Canadian for the night. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
Bonjour à tous, bienvenue à Montréal. J'ai pas l'accent de Montréal, donc je vais m'arrêter là. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be back on tier 2 because this is the closest tier and therefore probably the most exciting one as well. So hopefully we're going to have a good qualifying session.
Yes, I completely agree. In terms of the tier actions, all the tiers are exciting, of course, but this is definitely the most tightly fought. Yes. We have got some reserves in today, but we'll come back to them shortly. But one of them is Melvin in the Ferrari. He's standing in for Mr. Hoseman, who unfortunately is not racing today, but we'll talk more about this lovely track and the lovely, lovely reserves and drivers in our tier. Melvin's just coming along the back straight. When he gets to the final corner, do you want to talk us through a lap of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve?
I can give it a go, yes.
Oh, c'était magnifique. Merci beaucoup. Voilà, et allez.
So, right, well, the lap is starting, and he's getting a very strange line because he's tightening up on the first corner. So, here it's very easy to spin out as well. You've got a very real grip here. You've got to slowly and gradually get the speed up here before you try and not cut these corners because they're so tight. And I think he's tightened up in this game as well. So here you want to run as close as possible to the wall, gain some time. Here you want to run a little bit on the curb and just not hit it that way.
Yeah, that didn't quite go to plan. Let's find another car.
Yeah.
As Aston Martin just behind him, Captain Nibs, continue as you were.
Yeah. Oh yeah, perfect. Same here, a very similar corner. You can use a little bit of the orange curve on there, but you've got to be careful for it. Here it's very tricky as well. You can lock the rears up as well for the hairpin, and here, well, it's just a straight. I don't think I need to introduce the next corner, which is the Wheel of Champions. Hopefully one day I'll hit it. So I think it's been tightened up as well, this corner. Yeah. So, what time is he going to post? It is a 1:12.2. That's okay for a
respectable banker. Respectable banker.
Yeah. For a banker, it's really good.
Indeed. Now, Simba has popped a lap on the mediums of 12.9. Gassians 13.1. Fanning 13.3. So laps are coming in quick already. Now then, just a quick one. Driver change. Simba has departed the Tier 1 racecourse group and has joined the fond fellow gentlemen who he used to drive with in Tier 2. He has returned after half a season in Tier 1. He's dropped back down to Tier 2. He is replacing Mr. Singletrack, Martin of the Hills, in the Alpine. And that will be for the remainder of this season. Other notable drivers today making appearances. G-Star is racing today in the Williams. He is standing in. And we've got Neil in the Haas. We've also got Melvin, as we mentioned, in the Ferrari. And of course, last but not least, Ziadamar in the Alfa Romeo. Also, Captain Nibs in the Aston Martin. Nearly forgot. How dare we? So, quite a few reserves racing tonight. So Jackster with the 12.3 on the board. That's a respectable lap as well from the disgusting Red Bull. Lorpy won at 12.3. Good luck from him too. So go ahead, on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, my remote control kind of died.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, good times from. Well, now it's a tier 4 driver in third, so all the reserves are doing pretty well.
Indeed. So, oh yes, and Airways, of course. How did I miss Airways? I do apologise, Zach. Welcome into the McLaren seats in tier 2. Now then. Ryan was just about to set a lap. He just pitted instead. That's a shame. I was going to watch on board with him. Now then. The two Ferraris are together on track. Are they going to play the slipstream game? We all know how long these straights are here. And surprisingly, you do need a fair bit of downforce to be competitive here. So don't be surprised to see some teammates helping each other out, or some other drivers just playing the game, trying to get the slipstream off of people. And of course, in the race, the DRS game will again be such a powerful force. There are 3 DRS zones here. They start from the straight, the backstretch coming under the bridge, and then of course out of the hairpin where we see Stube and the Mercedes now, down to that final chicane. 3 very powerful sections where if you get that rear wing open, you can really make ground on your rivals. Now then, Stube in that Mercedes looks like he's just on a cooldown lap. Let's stick with him just to see if he does improve, or is he going to pit? He pits. This is bad luck. Now then, G-Star. Ben has politely asked me to say nice things about him on the stream. So I will say something nice here, Benjamin, of the Netherlands. You are driving a beautiful car. That's a beautiful car. That Williams, best livery on the grid. That is what I will say.
It's okay.
But good luck in tier 1. You know, you're a nice guy and we have some nice fights. And you are a very good driver. Speaking of whom, his fellow, I say Red Bull kind of team, it's AlphaTauri, of course. Al Gassian has gone on pole position. Oh, he was saying about bits. What are we saying?
Yeah, he was about to finish his lap and he has hit the ball, so...
that's a shame. You don't want to hit that wall. Was it the Wall of Champions by any chance?
It was indeed.
Now, Bissy's a former champion of MRC X Challenger tier. So that's very appropriate that he has hit the holy wall. Now, this wall, we are Gatti has off the session. That's rather bamboozled me. The Wall of Champions gained its name many, many years ago because there was a theme of drivers who had become champions or were champions-elects hitting such a wall. This includes Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, Damon Hill, just to name Fernando Alonso, just to name a few. The most recent person to hit that wall in a chaotic way was Kevin Magnussen. Make of that what you will. I'm not sure he's going to be a champion, but nevertheless, exciting.
You never know.
Another champion, though. Well, let's jump on board with Fanning in the Red Bull, who is another former champion of Tier 3. He's been in Tier 2 ever since Season 6, and has been in the mix at the top end on a regular basis. Here we go. He does have his ERS light flashing, so it could well be this is a cooldown lap. It does look to be. Let's find someone else. Simba. We have already looked at Simba, but we'll stick with him for the last corner of this lap. Here he comes along to the finish line. And he pops to speed 2 with a 12.2. Good lap from the Lion King. Looking to regain his form. Indeed, good lap from the Hornet. That, in the McLaren, is a respectable time of 12.6. Only half a second there, separating 9th and 1st. Very mixed grid.
Yeah, it is a short lap, so we've got closer. Of course, he smashes the
now then, G-Star in the Williams on the hard tyre has just provisionally taken pole position. Now, there's a Tier 1 driver who's just flexing his muscles. Now then, Ben, here's your moment. That's a fantastic lap from Ben, the G-Star sniper. Great lap. Well done, mate. Now, if you can humbly not do that again, seeing as it's not your tier, that'd be great. Anyway. Now then, who can we locate on a lap other than Ben?
Monster done in 19th.
Let's jump on board with Andrew. He got a fantastic... Oh, he's invalidated, damn it. That Monster had a fantastic result last time out. In España.
You get third.
He came second, I believe.
Second.
he definitely got a podium then. Morrison got a podium after a long drought without a podium in Tier 2, and he was a happy boy. So, congratulations, Mordy. Who can we jump with? Captain Nibs, Mr. Nibbles. He's just at the purple middle sector in the Aston Martin. Now, he's looking jolly fast, it has to be said. Mr. Nibs.
Actually improving by nearly 3 seconds.
3 seconds, well, he has currently got an 18.5 as his time, so 3 seconds would... Oh, there you go, 11.7. What a lap that is, 11.7. That's going to keep a few people in Tier 1 nervously watching over their shoulders. Are we going to see a low 11? Oh, yes, I like to see the excitement. Personally, I'm looking at that thinking that's a perfect combination of Willie and Willie in first and second. Williams all the way. Let us know in the YouTube chat if you agree that Williams first and second is what you want to see, because you know what? That is exactly what I want to see. Now then.
Patience is a virtue.
It is. Now, let's just have a little look at the YouTube chat. So, despite in real life this being a popular track for drivers and fans alike, on this game at least, as we're seeing from a lot of the comments, this is not a track that is enjoyed. Fabian, aka Error Voice, worst track ever. Bergen, worst track to race. I mean, this is straight away.
I disagree with them.
No, on the game it does feel like you're driving on ice. It's so slippy all the time. But in real life, as Berger's pointed out, one of the best races ever watched for Jenson Button, I believe, when he says Team JB. That back in 2011, yes, in the McLaren, when he was technically a lap down, had so many pit stops. The race stopped, I think, 4 times, and then he went on to win on the last lap, overtaking Sebastian Vettel, who made a rare mistake. That was an iconic day. But anyway, evening to Mordy, evening to Fabian, hello Triple DD, Speedy Bullet says hello, Mandy says hello, Bergen, yep, we acknowledged you already, Death Egg, whoever you are, Death Egg, you supporting Captain Nibs? So, the Nibs fan club is in the house. And, yeah, Mordy says 2011, the best race ever. So, there you go. Clearly, the Jenson Button fan club is here as well. Jackster, though, he's not a fan of Jenson Button, he's a fan of Nick de Vries. Nick de Vries, the best Dutchman ever, apart from Guido van der Garde. There's not been any other successful Dutchies, have there? Guido van der Garde, Nick de Vries, Jos Verstappen, Christian Albers. Yeah, Windelhock, Christian Albers. Yep, Christian Albers. They are the only successful, notable Dutch drivers, so yeah. Jackson would be the next one if he ever makes it to Formula 1. He's currently P8 with 112.3. I think this is a track where Jackson needs to continue this great form where he is pulling in regular top 5 finishes in Tier 2. And he's 3 tenths up in the first sector. This could put him on the front row in theory. Steve J, aka Kaiser Soze, says, good luck everybody. Good to see you, Steve. Hope you're well, my friend. Back to Jackster. His real name is actually Bart, by the way.
Yes.
Now, when he finishes this lap, we'll discuss Jackster, who's just lost a tenth in the middle sector, but he still has a quarter of a second in hand on himself.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry, be better. Now, Simba, by the way, he's just improved to a 11.9 again, so upped his pace a little bit again. Jackster very aggressive over the final chicane, heads to the line, takes the short line to the finish. And pops in P5 with a 12.1 as an improved lap, despite losing time in the second and third sectors. Now, Jackster, aka Bart, and your good sir, kind self, Anthony, are hosting and arranging a special one-off race next Tuesday, a week tomorrow. Do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, Jackster had the idea of hosting a race between Dutchies and Britons because, of course, we've got plenty of Dutchies in the Discord, so we tried to figure out if the day could be sorted out for this, and we've got a bank holiday next week, so we're having a bit of a battle between the two nations. So hopefully it'll be a good show. We don't know what track it's going to be yet. We've not decided on that, but yeah, I think it's going to be good fun. We've got points in quali as well, so you've got to qualify well. Okay, so I've noted that. I've got to qualify.
Yes, and, you do need to qualify, Anthony. For once in your life, please do what Alex Jarrett's done and put in a blind of a lap. By the way, that's 1,000th between first and second.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, you're right. The Dutch and the British are the largest two representations in MRC. Clearly, the Dutch and the British are just huge racing fans. Red Car Rambo goes P5. He's a fantastic racing fan. 12-1, cracking lap in the Alfa Romeo. And yeah, we've got that to look forward to in the week off of racing. With some racing in our week off of racing.
Next week.
We do. Now then, Alex Jarrett, whilst we were talking, popped a fantastic lap in, as did Simba, as did Red Car Rambo. The question is, who is going to match or improve on it? It's G-Star, big slide there at turn 2. That's not how you improve on a lap time, Benjamin. Come on, Ben, you're better than that.
Oh well, he's on hard, so...
He has got a hard on. And Bit just does the exact same thing coming out of turn 2. Big Tokyo drift. Now then, Neil, he is on a lap in the house. He's currently up on his time. What can he do? He's half a second up on himself. This would potentially put him anywhere between 14th and 16th. Maybe even higher, depends how his final sector goes.
Alright, we're coming to the final run. I'm going to keep an eye on Simba.
Let's see how aggressive he is. Indeed, this is his favourite track. Oh, and Neil pits, despite being massively up, he pits, and he hits the wall for good measure. There we go. Bits Carl Edens is on a lap in the Ferrari. He's off track at the hairpin. That's not how you do that. Let's give him some free air to continue himself. G-Star is not on a lap. He invalidated. Lorpy, he was 3 tenths up in the first sector. Where will he be at the second sector checkpoint? We have just over a minute to go, so you need to be starting a lap ASAP if you haven't already. And he's just under 2 tenths up, so he's lost some time in that middle sector, but he is still up on himself. Look how tight it is, by the way, between literally the whole grid. So a 12-1 in 5th place, if you were to lose half a second, you drop down to 15th.
That's mad. That is what we are looking for. Close times.
Indeed.
Close performance.
And all the gaps between each position is tiny. Ziad finally pops a lap in, an 11.4. Lorpy improves to go P6 as well with a 12.0. And that now, so 11.9 and P4, the gap between P4 and P14, again, half a second between P4 and 14th. That is a hugely competitive fight and a very small gap. Now then, who can we find on a lap? Everyone is out on track. Let's see, Wemax.
He's improving by 3.5 seconds.
Lovely stuff. Wemax is a 10th up, nearly in the first sector. This is, I think, the man who is the most likely to challenge for pole was Melvin. He's crashed out at the final corner. You can see it on the map where it's just flagged up yellow. Wemax, however, is in the middle sector, unaffected by that.
Simba's looking pretty good. Oh no, he's just getting this out. Oh no, yeah.
Wemax is a 10th and a half up, by the way, and Simba goes P2, 11.6, cracking lap.
Yep.
And that is about spot on with where Wemax is for pace right now. Wemax is on target to match Simba. Can he find anything in that final chicane to threaten the pole of Ziad? That is so aggressive and smooth from Wemax. Takes the short line to the line. What can he do? 11.6. He just pipped Simba by 7 thousandths.
Wow.
Ziad, by the way, is not on a lap, so he's not going to improve. But Jackster is... Oh, he's on a lap, but he's down on himself. Stube's on a lap. Let's see how he finishes. Final chicane, super aggressive. Pedals to the metal towards the line. DRS wide open, everything he has. And stays P18. That, ladies, gentlemen, cats, dogs, boys, girls, lampposts and diggers is your grid. So I'm naming all the pronouns I can think of so that no one feels left out. Pole position goes to Ziad, your resident Egyptian, with an 11.4. He's joined on the front row by Wemax with a 11.6. Iliam with a fantastic lap, pipping Simba by 7 thousandths to P3. The Lion King will be joined in P4 by Alex Jeric, the Serbian in Qatar. P5, the Tier 1 Maestro G-Star on a hard tyre. Wow. Who is your prediction based on that exciting qualifying session, Ant? Who's your boy prediction?
Simba earlier on, and I'm still going to be thinking about Simba because he's a regular driver, and I think he's not had too much practice, so I think he's finding his marks in qualifying. I'm expecting some good race pace from him.
Indeed. The rest of the grid starts with Lorpe in P6, Red Car Rambo P7, Gastian 8th, Jackson 9th, and Melvin, his Dutch fellow friend, lining up alongside him in P10. Captain Nibs 11th, Fox River 12th, Airways 13th, Fanning P14, Bit 15th, Error Voice P16, Devon's Hornet 17th, 18th for Stube, 19th for Neil, and last but not least is Monster. So you're going with Simba as a call for the race win today. Yep. I think he's a good call. I'm leaning between him, Red Car Rambo, and Lorpe. I'm going to go for Red Car Rambo and Lorpe as the two that I'm keeping an eye on. I think those two have got some fantastic pace. Not discrediting the front view. And is it me, or does that look a bit wet to you?
Definitely.
The pit lane looks wet.
Yep. I'm not sure. I'm trying to have a peek on the tyres, but I think it's still dry tyres.
Oh, see this.
But yeah, it's very...
The track looks relatively dry. The pit lane looks relatively wet. Are we seeing? Hopefully we're seeing. Yes. Now then, let's wait and see. Once everyone selects their fuel loads and strategies for the race, we will see a little bit more. So
strategy is going to be so interesting.
Yes, I was just going to say, strategy-wise here, the one stop is, as usual in the game, the preferred standard option. However, with such a short and quick entry and exit pit lane here, you can get away with doing a slightly more adverse strategy, such as a 2 or 3 stopper. And yes, we are seeing dry tyres on the cars, despite the wet pit lane. That's a weird one. It's definitely dry.
Is it one of those races where the wet weather is going to come during the first lap?
Well, let's wait and see. I think that'll be interesting if it does. Looking at the tyres, though, I don't think it will, because you've got 4 drivers on the soft tyres, and if it was going to come wet early on, I think more people will be on the softs.
True, very good.
Half the grid is on hard tyres, and a quarter is on mediums and softs. Bergen, our local weather expert, is walking around the island that this circuit is built upon. Man-made island this is. And he says there's a dry race, very cloudy, it's going to clear up towards the end. And then get cloudy again. So, all good. Mandy says it's also not raining. She's gone for a stroll around the island as well. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Bergen. Giorgio Hawk says, come on, Alex, with a million X's. That must be a friend of yours, Mr. Ajeric. Good luck to you on behalf of your friend.
We've got 23 viewers. It's the usual time where I say, please leave a like.
Yep, like, comment, subscribe, share. Do whatever it is you feel like doing, but feel free to get involved. We welcome your participation. Oh, something's happened with Steve and Monster. Looks like they may have had a coming together, and yeah, that means they'll have cold tyres for the start. Oh dear. Right then, let's get rid of some of the data there. Now then, and the drivers are making their way into their pit boxes. Let's see who gets a good start and who makes positions up off the line. The last drivers are just coming into their box now. Error Voice has slightly overstepped the mark and will roll backwards, but we are ready. The lights are possibly lighting up. We can't see them lighting up. Oh, here we go. We finally have some lights, and finally we are racing in Montreal, and a great start from Ziad. He pulls away on the dirty side of the grid from pole, easily takes the lead. He has, and look at that, Alex Ajeric and Womack side by side. Simba trying to stick a nose in too. Lorpe is side by side with Simba now. Just backs out of that one. G-Sar down to P6. He's got Red Car Rambo all over the back of him, followed by Melvin, Jackster, Captain Nibs, Fox River, Fanning, Airways, Devon's Hornet, Stube, Monster, Error Voice, Gastian, Neil, and Bits. Like you said, he had a bad start there. Back at the front, Ziad's running away already. Look at him go. And we've got a yellow flag. Who's gone round? I don't see any debris, but
no.
Gassian's not able to control his car.
No, I don't think so. No, that's what I wanted to point out earlier on. But
Oh, sorry, apologies.
yeah, I think he's having some connection issues. Oh no.
Well, we're seeing moves being made by the Mercedes of the Fox River. I'll be inside of Jackster into the hairpin. Lorpy had a little look at Simba, but didn't get the move done. Are we going to see Jackster come back at Fox here? We are. Look at him go. He's got much better straight line speed. He's now on the racing line for the chicane too. And he's done. And even worse for Fox River, Fanning's just got through as well. And now Fanning's going to get Jackster. Great end of the lap for Fanning there. He's made 2 positions out of nowhere. Ryan, by the way, in P11. Sorry, go ahead.
This is very Verstappen-esque.
Let's not say words like that. Now, so yeah, Ryan's had a bit of a mare on the start. He's down to P11. He was in the top 6, I believe. Let's just get the position change on the board. Yeah, Ryan has lost 4 positions on the start. Big gaining driver today. Monster up 7 places. Ryan's made one of those positions back on Fox River. He's made a position, but looks like he's lost 3 in the last lap. So anyway, back to the front. Ziad, 2.5 seconds nearly already is his gap. Remax, Alex Ojeric, Simba having a big fight between them. This is already looking like a tight fight for the podium between these 4 drivers. Lorpy now getting in on the case as well.
Jackster is eyeing up Ryan's back end. Oh no, he's
indeed.
He won't be making a move just yet.
Airways is now making a move on Fox in the inside of turn 1, and Fox comes back at him and just holds on. Will Airways have the grip on the outside? There's better traction on the exit if you can hang on the outside, and he's done it. He's got round him. Brilliant driving fare from Airways, and that means Monster is now the next to have a... have a look at Fox, but he's just cut turn 4 and 5. Easily done, of course. Track limits here. And what are your thoughts on the track limits at this track?
Well, they're really tough. We've got 3 chicanes, I think, that are really tight.
Yes.
So 1 each sector. And yeah, it's so easy to get caught out. Not just on one corner, on both of the chicanes. So you get caught out once, and you could be in for a penalty the next lap. So
definitely,
you've got to be concentrated right from the start.
Indeed. The final chicane is one where the game is changed from this year's game compared to what it has been before. It's a bit more open, so you can attack it a bit more, but that just means it's more risky of a crash with the champion's wall. By the way, G-Star 14.3 there with the fastest lap of the race in the Williams. We love seeing the Williams do well, even if it does mean G-Star's the man behind the wheel. Now then, there's a nice little fight going on here between Fanning and Melvin for P7. They're a few seconds off as... Oh, we've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. A McLaren is round. It's Dennis Horner is round. We're going to stick with this fight. Oh, virtual safety car, and it's just allowed Melvin to hold on from Fanning, who's about to overtake him by the look of things. At the very least, he's about to launch an attack. I've got to be nice about Melvin. He's doing comms for Tier 1 for us later. So we've got to be a little bit nice about him.
Let's be kind, yeah.
Yeah, let's be nice. It could come back to bite us. Now then. So we've got a little fight brewing here between Melvin, Fanning and Redcar Rambo, who 3 drivers who've all stepped up from Tier 3 in their time in MRC. So proof that longevity and developing pays off. These 3 having a fight could be exciting. Let's just look further ahead. And again, they've got this little gaggle. Alex, Wumax, Simba, Lorpy and now G-Star all so close. Melvin has ruined the idea of that fight by pissing already. We're only just on lap 4. Ooh, he's got a wing change. That will be why. Okay. That explains that one. A good time to make a pit stop, you lose a lot less time. This is a very long virtual safety car, Ant.
Yeah, it's been a lap, I think, already, so... I don't know how it's coded, I don't know if it's a time
Oh,
Found that's imposed
and there we go. We are free to race again. Neil with a drive-through for speeding under the VSC. That long VSC has allowed Melbourne to not lose as much as he would have done otherwise.
Yep.
Melbourne, by the way, has put the hard tyre on.
Well, what I would say is that, as you can see now, the sun's come out, so this will help a little bit the
Ziaz!
harder compound tyres.
Ziaz just a huge run of the hairpin and then hits the wall. Huge drift coming into the hairpin. The race leader has just lost well over a second.
I think he's got away with it without damage.
Indeed. Now, Red Car Rambo is lining up fanning for a pass. These two are good, firm friends. But on track, they will fight as hard as anything. And Ryan has made the move. That is for P7. Just behind them, here comes Airways on Jackster.
Yep.
Yeah, this looks like a stunned DRS pass. Is he going to get it done? No, Jackster brakes late and Airways plays safe. Airways has got some very good pace today.
Who, sorry?
Airways,
Airways
really good pace today. For a lower tier driver stepping up, he's doing a great job.
I don't know if he uses the racing line, but in Tier 2 we don't have it, so if he's changed just over for this race, he's doing really well.
What a great drive he's doing. Notable mention for him. Again, as you mentioned there, stepping up a higher tier from what he's used to. Captain Nibs, another driver there, popping some rapid pace down early doors. Fastest lap of the race so far. Let's stick with man of the air, Zach, in the McLaren. Thoughtfully picked his name there. He's not Zach Brown, he's a better Zach, because Zach Brown is a fraud. Let's stick with these guys. DRS wide open on the McLaren. Jackster will be very, very vulnerable here. Although Jackster's strike speed is good, he's used all of his DRS. Now takes the tight line through the chicane, having gone defensive early. This will give a clear advantage to Airways as he pulls out the slipstream. He's on the inside, and that is bread and butter. Easy pass into turn 1.
We're getting to a critical point of the race. Lap 7. This usually is where the soft tyres start feeling a bit second hand.
Yes, let's just remind each other what tyres everyone's on. So pop them on the screen. Yep, go ahead on.
Good idea.
Yeah, so as we were saying there, the soft tyre, this is where they start to get a little bit on the...
Oh,
Ziad's had a moment! Ziad again has a big moment. And Ziad's had a moment in the race lead again in that chicane under the bridge. And he's gone so wide at the hairpin. Alex will get a lesser run on the exit here because of the switchback. But with slipstream and DRS, this is surely going to be a pass for the lead.
Alex, be an easy move for the Serb yet.
Both of them are flashing out with DRS. Alex is playing the DRS game, which is a bit daft because it's double DRS. If you have DRS in the back straight, you'll have it on the main straight too. And he might not get the move done now. This is that might have been a mistake from Mr. Ajeric. He's on the soft tyre and everyone around him is on the mediums apart from G-Star in that top 6 gaggle. So he's the one that needs to make the move. Ziad is on a better tyre right now.
That might be why though, because he might be too slow. Well, starting to feel he's losing the grip. So he might be too slow if he's in free air, so he might be using Ziad as a tractor. I don't know how to...
to pull him along, yeah, I know
what I mean, but to drag him along.
Indeed, look at this little group. 3 seconds separates the top 6 now. We've got a yellow flag, final corner, there's an Alpine round. That's error voice. And Alex is in the moment, the chicane. That promotes Remax to P2. And Simba and Alex are side by side of the hairpin. These two have had a few comings together over the last few seasons. But Simba looks to have got the move done. Alex gives him plenty of room. Yep, Simba's got him. Let's cut back to Remax. Remax already looks to have got the job done on Ziad, and he has. Early pass for the lead there. Now then, Simba will be trying to line up Ziad as well here. Ziad still doesn't have DRS as per that detection zone. But he's going to... virtual safety car. Just as Ziad was lining up a move on Remax, weirdly. And that is...
going to pit?
Yeah, I would pit if I had the chance now. I would definitely be in the box.
Thing is, plenty of drivers at the back are already on hard tyres, so if they pit now, it's going to compromise the strategy.
Gamble on a medium. The medium tyre can do 24,
Yes,
25
yes.
laps if you're careful with the tyres.
You could do medium from here.
Yes, you could do medium soft or medium. Yeah, I'd put the mediums on, gamble. And Red Car Rambo and Mornstar are doing just that. They're putting a medium on. Stoob, drive-through penalty, speeding under VSC.
I think Monster
And it's ended already.
Yeah, very random. Virtual safety time.
Indeed. Now then, Rumax is...
had to change it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think Monsters had to change his front wing.
Oh, that's a shame. So, Error Voice is retired.
Oh.
I believe he's in the pit lane.
Yeah.
Yep, he is. Now then, Ziad is just under a second from Rumax, so Rumax will not be under threat here in this break zone, but that means that Ziad has defence from Simba, who looks ever quick today. And then, of course, Alex, after that early mistake, will be looking to make up for that. Lorpy's dropped off the back from this group, slightly. And then there's G-Star, just lurking in the background, watching everyone ahead.
Yeah,
Fanning. Go ahead.
He's doing well to still have that pace. He's still staying more or less within a second of Lorpy. So
yes.
Yeah, they're holding on okay from them, the soft tyres.
Indeed. Fanning in P7 is having a quiet race, but is a successful one nonetheless. His teammate Jackson P8 is now clear of the cars behind. Fox River is the next car. And then he's got a huge gap to Airways.
So will we soon be seeing Jackson closing the gap to Fanning with his hard tyres? After about 10 laps, there should be crossover. We've got
another yellow flag at turn 1 and 2. That's Neil. Neil's had a moment. By the way, Simba has just taken Ziad for P2 on the back straight with DRS. So Ziad... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying he's been very patient this race. He was in 4th and wasn't trying any dash moves. And yeah, he's just finding the right moment to take advantage of other drivers' bad positioning.
Indeed. Speaking of positioning, G-Star positions car well through turns 1 and 2 to go for a move on Lorpy. These two are good friends in real life as well as in MRC, and Lorpy, despite a little battle, does give G-Star the room to go and attack the cars ahead. Monster picks up another track limit penalty. This will be costly at the end of the race. Sometimes going slower is beneficial, and he's got the fastest lap there whilst track limit penalties come into effect. A little bit sus, but I'm sure someone will beat that later on. Now then, Alex Jarek. Sorry, go ahead.
The guys ahead still haven't pitted, so yeah, I was just agreeing with you.
Airways has dropped it, by the way. Airways has had a moment at the second of the chicanes. That's another virtual. So there's 3 virtual safety cars we had so far. No fools yet. Interesting.
I'd rather have that than a full safety car, to be honest.
Yeah.
That group of 6 up front, they deserve to be where they are at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got
Alex Pitts.
Alex going for the pits. Yeah, good decision.
Will anyone follow him in? If I was on the hard tyre, I'd be tempted to get them off and go for a set of mediums from here. A cheap free pit stop.
Yeah, that could make a two-stop work. But...
Or even a one-stop. You could take a medium to the end from here, if you're careful on your tyre.
Yeah,
no one else.
Careful, yeah.
No one else chooses to pit, so that could have been a stroke of genius.
We've got Airways going to the pit.
Indeed. Now, Alex.
Got to be a bit hard.
Yeah, Alex is on the set of hards. He's in P9. It's going to be very interesting to see how... He's lost a lot more time there than I thought he would. He's 20 seconds off the race lead, and yet he was in that first little group, so he should only really be losing about 10 seconds in the VSC pit stop, and he's lost a lot more, so I think he might have had a wing change. Ziad's drive-through for speeding under VSC. Our P3 driver is in big trouble, and he's going to get done by G-Star here, who's got a great run at the hairpin. Ziad tries to squeeze in, but G-Star cannot be stopped. He is too quick. Ziad knows.
Already made a place up on Fox River.
Yeah, Ziad's going to take that drive through straight away. Interestingly, Fanny is now choosing to pit. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know why you pit now when you could have pitted under VSC. No penalty, no ring change, just a straight swap of tyres. Bold, but nevertheless, we'll see where he comes out in regards to Alex. Alex is actually way clear. It's not even a question. So Alex is now with Ziad, who served a pit stop under under normal speed. Alex did a full pit stop under VSC, and they're together. So clearly the VSC pit stop is quicker, but not by as much as we maybe expect. And Nibs is out now. Nibs has gone at turn. Sorry, no, he's in the pit lane. He's in the pit lane. Apologies. So we are 2 drivers down so far. Now, this fight between Ziad and Alex, they are 16 seconds from the race lead. They're at the moment. Oh, Alex gets very twitchy. Sorry, Ziad gets very twitchy again into the hairpin. I think he needs to tweak his brake bias. Ooh, bit of a collision between the two, but they've got away with it. And there's a full safety car. Monster is out. He's lost it just after the chicane that follows the bridge. Now we have a safety car, finally.
The leaders will be very happy and feeling very lucky because they've only just got past the safety car, so they can get a free pit stop.
Indeed. So, Wemax, you're right, he is ahead of the safety car, so they will not lose out. So, Montreal, or the Canadian Grand Prix at least. Let's just go into a little history lesson. The first Canadian Grand Prix was held back in 1961. It was not held, however, at this circuit. It was held at a circuit called Mosport Park, which was just outside, funny enough, of Toronto. It then proceeded to be taking place at a circuit called Mont Tremblant, and that was very short-lived before eventually joining this circuit, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which of course is in Montreal, and that was sometime in the 1970s, I believe. Now, the circuit's named after Gilles Villeneuve, and even says Salut Gilles on the start-finish line. And obviously this is a toast to the world champion in the Ferrari, Gilles Villeneuve, who has now passed away, of course. He was a local boy from Quebec, therefore very much loved in this part of the world, and his son Jacques went on to win the World Championship in 1997 with Williams. So this circuit does, despite a lack of Canadian drivers in F1, does celebrate 2 of them in that respect, in that their name is on the circuit. In more recent years, yes, in real...
No, just 1.
In modern day F1, we have 2, I'd say goats of F1, but we all know that's sarcastic, in Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. 2 local lads again. So, Formula 1 in Canada has got some history, not quite as rich as the likes of the Netherlands, the Germans, the French, the Brits, or even, I'd say, the Italians.
Yeah, it was early on for the Italians.
Oh, yes. Now then.
Very early on.
So, Montreal, this layout hasn't changed very much. There's only been small tweaks and small additions to the circuit. That is because the circuit, as you can see here, is on a small little one, and you can just see it from certain helicopter shots. It's a small man-made island that we sit on here for this track. Therefore, we're very limited as to how and where they can adjust, amend, or edit this track. However, there have been small chicanes added and removed from this track over the decades. The current layout, though, very much similar to the original, and it provides a fantastically fun, simple but fair test for a lot of drivers. It's got a street circuit style feel to it, with narrow track layout, very tight twisty turns, and very close walls, but such high speeds. What's your thoughts on the track though, Ant?
I think it's really fun because it's tight Not as dangerous as Monaco, I would say, but there really is a feel of speed around this track, especially in those chicanes. Well, the one they're coming up right now, that one feels like you're going at 300 kilometers per hour through the through the
Yeah.
chicane, and you're on the limit and getting next to that wall as well. So it's always kind of been one of my favourites as well. I really enjoy that track. I've got to agree, it doesn't feel as good as it probably does in real life on this game, but it's still one that I really enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long-term member of the F1 calendar, and therefore has some great history here, and some great drivers have won here. I love to always reference that Lewis Hamilton's first ever Formula 1 win came here.
True.
That was back in 2007. He also got his first pole position that day. Another driver, the following year, got their first and only win in this circuit in a BMW Sauber.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who that driver was?
Robert.
Indeed, Robert Kubica of Polski. Shema and dziękuję to Robert for his fantastic drive that day. The nation of Poland worshipped him for it afterwards. And of course, as we've mentioned earlier from our lovely comment makers in the YouTube chat, Jenson Button, of course, in 2011 had an iconic hero drive here. Although he did make contact with his teammate Lewis Hamilton and put him in a wall, which led to Hamilton retiring from the race, which I like to remind everybody of every time they mention how heroic Button was that day. He put his teammate out the race and got a drive-through penalty for it. So he won a race by taking out his teammate. Just going to throw a slight sour twist on the tale that is the hero and legend. No, there's a slight twist and salty tale on the heroic story. Now then, typically, whoever's got the fastest car in F1, this suits the faster cars. It's got, obviously, the high speed and low speed corners and the high speed straights tend to suit whoever the championship leaders may well be. And this year is no exception. Max Verstappen, frankly, walked it to a win here without really having to try. It was quite a dominant win for him. And last year, the Ferrari and Red Bull duos had a strong fight, but again, Max walked it to a win.
I think the McLarens would have really enjoyed this track if
with their update,
all their upgrades early on.
Yeah, they would have. They would have indeed. The traction zones here are crucial, and as we saw in Silverstone, the McLaren traction is phenomenal out the slower corners, and that really is crucial here with such heavy acceleration and braking zones. It really tests how hard the car is on the tyres as well. That's a crucial factor. So drivers who are a bit more aggressive on their tyre strategies, consider the extra stop because you will struggle. But the safety car is on the way into the pits.
Finally going.
I would say where is Womack's going to go, but the answer is almost certainly out of the final corner. But he's already gone. He's absolutely mugged me off there, and Simba was thinking the same thing. He's already a second behind him.
Yeah, Simba will be wanting to get back up there as soon as possible.
Yeah, Womack has caught everyone napping there. He's gone. So Melvin, Dumbest Hornets, on old tyres. Everyone else is on at least relatively new tyres. Oh, and Dumbest Hornets in the wall! We've just managed to catch that on the stream, and sorry, Mr. Pratt, but we've caught you. Oh dear. Let's go back to the front. Womack's
3-second penalty as well, and he's stuck.
Oh dear.
Now,
let's see. Doesn't look like too much chaos other than that on the restarts. Jackster and Fox River are reunited after early doors in the race. They're together again. Ziad pitted on the safety car, having served the drive-through before it. He's gone from being in that fight at the top 6 to now being P10. Disaster really for him today, after qualifying on pole.
That's the problem with him, though. He's super fast, but he's his own worst enemy.
Yes, definitely. Who are you currently watching right now, Ant?
I'm looking at Melvin because, as much as he's in free air and nobody's next to him, he should be the bottleneck in the next few laps. He's got what 13 lap old tyres, I think.
Yes.
So the guys behind him have got much fresher tyres. It will be interesting to see if he can hold them off.
I think you're right. I think those tyres are going to go. He's not bothered by strategy games or the pit stops with the safety cars. He's just got his game plan in his head, and he's going to go as long as he can and see if something happens later on where he is. He does need to watch out for his fellow Dutchie, Mr. Jackster, who is close behind him. And then just behind them is, of course, the Fox River and Ziad. Oh, we've got a little bit of a fight going on between Bit and Stoob for P12. Doris Hornet, the latest to pick up a time penalty. We're seeing them pop in a bit thick and fast now. Let's have a look at them. So, 3 seconds for Alex, G-Star, Melvin, Ziad, Stoob, and then 9 seconds for Doris Hornet, and a dry 3 for Neil. Still needs to serve that. I'd serve that pretty quick if I were you, Neil. Morris did have a fair few, but he's no longer in the race. Melvin now picks up 3 seconds as well. Now then, let's see, will Neil serve that penalty? Yes, he will. And Gassian still can't take control of his car, he's still AI.
Finder's still doing really well. I know I'm forcing it with him because he's my pick, but he's got it back down to half a second.
He has.
To Wumac. So he's managing his race really well.
He has, and look, they're on the same tyre life. They're within a second of each other. They've got just over a second to the cars behind. Alex is Jarek under attack from G-Star and the other Williams. Let's see, can Simba get a move on Remax here? Now the DRS is live, and G-Star having a look at the inside of Alex, backs out of it, big lock up on the brakes. Let's cut back to the cars ahead shortly. G-Star didn't get the best exit, nor did Simba. He's lost a little bit of time there. Remax will have to use...
flashing away though.
Indeed, Remax is still fine, but G-Star has got the move done on Alex for P3. Now, Lorpy, is he going to have a look at the back of the Haas now? Not quite enough room into turn 1, but he'll fancy his odds later in the lap. Now, I've got to be honest, Simba needs to get a little bit of a move on here because he has got a tier 1 driver breathing down his neck in the other Williams. And don't be surprised if Rumax tries to back Simba into G-Star. That would be the best form of his defence, is to force his teammate to attack. And Melvin has crashed. That's a full safety car. Melvin, the man who was gambling on taking those tyres long, has dropped it where Sebastian Vettel controversially had a moment just a few years ago in 2019. Do you remember that particular event?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah, as a Hampton fan, I remember it very well.
A little controversial, let's say.
Yes, a lot of people...
We'll have our opinions on it.
Yeah, a lot of people feel it was unfair to take a race win from him, but he did keep a position by going off track and losing control of the car.
That's my thinking too.
Which, yeah, in the nicest possible way, Sebastian, he was pushing and made a mistake. And then the mistake, he didn't relinquish position. But anyway, he was very upset by it. He did go on to win the Singapore Grand Prix later that year, which he would have felt was his redemption. Interestingly though, back to the business here, we are seeing Fanning is in the pits. The Fox River has also come into the pits. Ziad does not, but Redcar in the other Alfa Romeo does. Stoob has pit as well. Airways is in the pits. Bit is in the pits. So plenty of drivers are making the chance to pit. We've only just had another safety car.
Yeah.
Surely most of those shows, yeah, they're all going for the mediums. Apart from Fanning, he's gone soft. So he could take those to the ends. It's a gamble, but it's doable.
I mean, you can get them to the end, but in what state will they be?
Yeah, there'll be a bit on the warm side, but if he can, well, if he can stick the cars ahead, not push too hard on the first few laps, they'll go to the ends.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have to nurse them, that's for sure.
Yeah. But it's a good call. It's a bold call. And ultimately, a new set of tyres is the right decision. The guys in the top 6, top 8 even, sorry, top 7, I can't count. Top 7 all have stayed out. Everyone else behind them has pitted, apart from Gatian, who is AI, as we know, and Thomas Hornet, who is last, interestingly. The guys who've not pitted... Yeah, I think you're right. And the guys in the top 7 that haven't pitted, they're going to be vulnerable to Fanning and Fox River on the restart. Very, very vulnerable. So don't be surprised if Fanning makes a few positions and then is hanging on for dear life afterwards.
This car came out just too early. It was within what, 5 laps? We got 5 laps of racing.
Yeah. So when the safety car comes in, and probably with the end of this lap, I'd imagine, we'll have 12 laps of racing to go.
If it's at the end of this lap, yeah, but
now
I'm a bit lost with how the game's coded now.
Yeah. Yeah, safety car's a little bit on the crazy side. Airways and Dumbest Hornet are taking this chance to pit again in the 2 McLarens. So that does mean that... Ooh, Dumbest Hornets are going on to a set of hards, interestingly. A used set of hards. Okay. Oh, I'm getting some sound glitches I can hear. That's better.
The stream comments are very interesting.
Yeah, let's have a little look.
We've got Error Voice having a bit of a chat with Mark, talking about Bacardi Lemon. So,
go on, man. Let's get this talk going.
Rum.
Right. 2 truths and a lie. Hodgie says, "Oh well, oh well, oh dear." Tier 1 might be interesting for Hodge. Although we all know that Hodge can hold his liquor, and he can drink it too. Fabian and him need to stop having a bromance in the comments, because ultimately Fabian is he's my boy. Stay away, Hodge. He's mine.
It looks like we're going to have another lap.
Yeah, I was wrong. I'm never wrong, but on this occasion I am. Now then, we've had, unless I'm incorrect, this is the 2nd full safety car. No, 3rd full safety car, sorry, I believe, actually, and we've had 3 VSCs.
I think we've had 2 safety cars and...
Definitely 3 VSCs.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of stop-start, and yet here we are, lap 24. This is a circuit which does, in real life, get a lot of safety cars as well. Triple DD says the safety car is ridiculously slow in this game. You know what? It is ridiculously slow, but it's ridiculously slow in every game. Right now, I stand by what I said before. I think Fanning is going to mop his way through the top 7. Once Gatian's AI car is out of the way, I think the guys behind him are going to fly as well. But it's whether they lose too much time on the restart behind the ghosted car.
Yeah, he should fly past the drivers, but what happens when he hits the cliff, you know? What was the furthest anybody's gone in this race? Around 10 laps, I think? So after this lap, there'll be 11 laps of racing.
Yeah. And he's coming in.
If he can keep it on track when it hits the cliff. So, yeah.
I've done 15 laps on the softs, and they were fine, but just slow. So they will go the distance. It's just how bad he's finding the grip. But here we go. Remax, is he going to do what he did last time, or will he do what I thought he was going to do before he made me look stupid and go to the chicane? And he's already gone. Oh no, he's not. He's still weaving.
Has he? Oh.
No, that's controversial. Oh, he's gone now. Oh, that was a very controversial restart, and he has gone. Here we go. And we will start lap 25, 11 laps to go. He has got a 9/10 lead to P2. Simba holds on to P2. Currently in P3 is held by G-Star. 4th, Alex Shark. 5th, Lorpy. And 6th is Jackster. ZMR, P7. Despite that drive-through, he's now back in the fight for the lead. But here comes Fanning. Great drive out of turn 2. Look at him go. Already on the inside for turn 4. Turn 3 and 4, sorry. And that was a great...
He's got another warning there.
He will have done, but that was a great move. Now, don't be surprised if Red Bull team orders come into effect. Jackster and Fanning in the Red Bulls. Don't be surprised if they swap position. Jackster could use Fanning to help himself get through ahead of the cars ahead of Them both. Red car Rambo.
To say up front.
Red car Rambo and Ziad are forming an Alfa Romeo sandwich for the Mercedes of Fox River. Up front now, yet. Remax just hanging on. Simba's already caught up with him again. So Remax has got pace, but it doesn't seem like he's got quite enough. The slipstream is powerful here. Fanning has passed Jackster. As you can see in the background, as suspected, the Red Bulls are playing the team game. And G-Star has taken Simba, and Simba's going to take him back though. Simba's on the inside for turns 1 and 2, and yeah, late braking, he's up the inside. Oh, and it's left the comms box, but we'll continue.
Yeah.
And G-Star just through turn 2 has enough grip to hang on to P2. Great driving from the pair of them. That will really help Remax.
Oh, definitely.
Indeed. Now then, Fanning.
I think Simba's looked after his tyres much better than Remax, because Remax really struggled to create the gap that he managed to create earlier on.
Indeed.
So,
Ziad's struggling with his tyres, by the way. He's had a huge moment earlier this lap, and that's lost him a lot of time. Fanning's tyres are lit up just right, as he is all over the back of Lorpy for P5, and surely he's going to make a move on this lap, maybe next lap. But that much more grip. He's having a look on the inside of the hairpin. That's a bold move. Here we go. Fanning's Red Bull. Look at the traction on the exit there. It's not even funny. That's just so much more grip. Now then, out the final corner. Fanning knows that he is using his OS. He will know that Lorpy is using his 2 to defend. Lorpy needs to hang on. The longer he holds on, like you said, the risk of Fanning hitting the cliff on these tyres is greater. And therefore he might survive to fight later on in the race with the guys ahead of him rather than those behind him. Fanning needs to make the moves now. His strategy is a gamble that requires him to resolve his position with overtakes. DRS will be active this lap. Is Fanning going to get a move? These are all in a DRS train, so it's going to be hard for him to get that move done. We have a yellow flag as we got to... Oh, some McLaren Haas around, but all cleared up nice and quickly. Happy days. Up front though, Remax is under big... Okay, Remax is under big attack from G-Star, and Simba's just behind him. This is going to be a tight fight to the finish. The cars ahead on the hards. This is vital for the fight in the lead. These cars ahead, all being together on the hards, means that the cars behind the softs are a little bit compromised. G-Star does take Remax in position. The Williams duo taking that decision to play the tactics to their advantage. But here comes Simba. He's going to have a look at Remax into turn 1. Remax does hang on this time. Now then, Jackster and Fanning, ever so close. It does look to me like Jackster's hanging on just nicely in there. And Lorpy high on the back of Alex, and then in turn Simba, Remax and G-Star, means that Fanning cannot get past. He's got just enough pace to hold on, and this is vital. Fanning's tyres are going off too quickly. This could spell the end of Fanning's charge. If he does not get past in the next lap or two, his tyres will not be there to fight at the end of the race. And oh! Lorpy has a huge moment at the chicane, and that has allowed Fanning through. The commentator's curse strikes. Alex has rejoined the comms box. He just went for a little cup of tea. What have you seen while you were out trackside?
Not much, to be honest.
Well, we're seeing some crazy action. Oh! Simba's round! Simba's had a moment, Lorpy's had a moment on this lap, and that has promoted Fanning to P4, Jackson to P5. Lorpy's now down to P6, but it's coming back at Jackster. And Fanning, by the way, in P4, is now on the back of Alex's Jarek. Now, are we going to see the man from Liverpool against the man from Serbia in a little duel for a podium? Don't forget, G-Star on P1 will get a penalty for being a Tier 1 driver of 5 places at the end of this race. That penalty will really hurt his ambitions to win the race, and of course Fanning now takes that position from Alex. That's a net P2 today. I do say if Fanning can get these moves done, this is a race winning opportunity. He just needs to catch up with Remax. Are you okay, Ant?
Getting there.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The game just shut down.
Technical issues in the comms box.
Yeah.
It's all good. So Fanning is almost within that 1 second window of Remax already. Remax, by the way, is flashing his DRS away. He is out of battery. This is not good for him. If Fanning gets within the DRS, you suspect it's game over. Excuse me.
He can brake so much later.
He can. He gets on the throttle earlier, brakes later, turns with more speed. And now he's got the slipstream. It looks to me like a done deal. Fanning is within that 1 second window. He doesn't have DRS just yet, but he's got more ERS and a slipstream, and like we just discussed, a better tyre and traction. I think Fanning is going to take this. Let's stick with this fight. Actually, let's come back to it. The Mercedes duo having a little battle. Steuben and Fox River trying to decide who is Hamilton and who is George Russell. Who wants to be the leading car? Ziad pits again for another set of tyres, as does Bit. Red Car Rambo unfortunately has DNF'd. We missed it in all the chaos. He has left the session. He is not a happy bunny. Simba pitted during all the action too, following his moments. And Womax has lost position to Fanning already. Fanning got great drive out of 6 and 7 and has took him before the bridge chicane.
Well, okay, that's the move for the lead then.
Yep, that is the net lead. So, the question is, can Fanning hold on after this DRS stretch here? And if he does he pull away? There's someone on board of Remax, he's got DRS open, and look how quickly he's catching. Yeah, so...
Yeah, Remax always sets his car up to have some very good top speed.
Did Fanning make the move too early?
Maybe, but he needs to make the move early as well. His tyres are not going to get any better.
No. 5 laps to go. This fight between Alex, Fanning and Remax for what is the net lead after G-Star's penalty is hotting up very much. Fox River has pitted and retired in the pits, actually.
Yeah, he had lost his front wing, so...
Oh dear. Now then, this fight for what will become the lead is tasty, to put it mildly. Fanning needs to hang on, not make the move under the bridge, make the move out of the hairpin. Use that to pull away and hopefully next lap with better tyres run away. G-Star with another track limit penalty. That means that the winner will be one of these guys on track in the end, rather than after stewarding penalties. Here we go. And look at this, Fanning all over the back of the Williams through the hairpin. That is the crucial acceleration zone. 5 laps to go after this one, 4 laps to go after this one. Fanning is already on the back of the Williams. Surely this is an easy pass for him. DRS wide open, slipstream up the inside. He goes to the final chicane. And yet there's the pass for the net lead again. The Red Bull man will be happy to have got that back ahead of the Williams.
9 lap old and 9 lap old softs against 17 lap old hards. He'll be hoping that this first and second sector makes him build a gap for over a second.
Yeah, neither tyre will feel particularly good right now, but Fanning should still have a slight advantage. But the DRS and slipstream is so strong here that you cannot count Remax out. And of course, let's not forget our good friend Alex Jarek in P4. He does have a time penalty, which will hamper him later, but he's still in the mix. These guys did get DRS on Fanning this lap, which does not help the Scousman in his attempt to pull away.
I don't want to... oh no, it's Bulgarian.
You sure? You're good?
Yeah, no, I was going to...
Oh, and Alex on the inside of Remax. Now, if anything, that move there from Alex may well have just saved Fanning from a DRS pass on this lap. Remax is out of ERS. Alex is out of ERS. Fanning lives to fight another day, and these two fighting could well just give Fanning the chance to breathe and pull away. 3 laps to go for these guys.
They're staying well clear of the Bull of Champions. They're not taking any risks.
No, it is not worth it. This is a race win on the line for these guys. Now then, Fanning needs to hope these two behind him keep fighting hard. This is his best chance at wins. If these two fight, his tyres will now just be coming to the end of their usable life. The hard tyre will be good for another 7, 8, maybe even 10 laps, depending on how well they've looked after them. So
Womax will be getting.
Go ahead.
Womax has got DRS here, but he's hardly a second away from Fanning, so if he slips in, he's not going to be as strong. He might just be able to pull away from Womax now.
He's just got DRS again, he's within 9/10 of him, so he's just going to get DRS on the long stretch here. But that, I think, means Fanning will hold position. He'll just be a little bit closer to the Williams than he'd want to be. We've got a yellow flag. Ziadamar has lost it at turn 5. Sorry, turn 7 even. He will lose his points paying position and he drops down to 13th. Fanning does hold on to P2. That will become the net lead. And here we go, on to the penultimate lap. And Lorpy in the distance. There's a good chance for him to close up. He's not quite closing up though. Airways in P6, by the way. Very quietly having a stellar day. And then, of course, Jackster is all over the back of him. There's a three-man fight for P5, 6 and 7 going on here. But once again, this three-man fight with Alex, Womax and Fanning, Alex and Womax are saving Fanning by fighting amongst themselves.
Yes, definitely. And something else as well, Fanning has been managing his ERS pretty well. He's got more ERS much more than Womax. So
which is vital.
To be able to defend, yes, exactly, on that back straight. With a lap left, it's a pivotal point.
Indeed. So, coming into that hairpin there. Oh, Alex so nearly hits the back of Womax. Alex just avoids the back of that Williams, and that so nearly ended the podium hopes for these two drivers. Now then, Womax and... Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, it's surprising. It seems like he's got so much more grip than Womax, and his tyres aren't as fresh as Womax's. So.
Indeed, that could be set up there. Now, Womax gained a lot of time on Fanning. Fanning, it looks like he's saving that ERS, like you mentioned. He's got a bit more than the cars behind. We are on the final lap. Let's stay with these three. This is what will become the race lead after the tier adjustment penalties. So, are we going to see Fanning hold on for his first win this season? Or are we going to see Womax take it? Are we going to see Alex take it? The Red Bull driver is in the net lead at the moment. He is just under a second ahead, and that is vital. The guys behind will get DRS on this stretch here. That will pull them closer and closer as we enter the bridge chicane. Fanning neat and tidy through there. Don't we want to pick up any track limit penalties just here? And now 8/10 is the gap as they crumble their way down into the hairpin. This is the final acceleration zone that could make the difference for the day. And it has to be said, Womax did not get a good exit there, nor did Alex. Both were dropped off significantly. And Fanning will dump the ERS and heads to the final chicane. I think he's going to hold it. Now, neat and tidy through the final chicane, Thomas, and you, my friend, will have just secured it. And he is neat and tidy. Fantastically done by Fanning. And he will take the race lead. By the way, G-Star pulled over to let these guys go through and take that on track. Very well played, G-Star. Big respect to him. And of course, Fanning, just 1 week after the event of his marriage to his beloved Charlie, he takes the win in Canada. He will be thrilled. Great drive. Womax takes P2. Well fought, hardly fought all day. Lorpy takes P3 after Alex's penalty. He will be so happy with that. Alex drops to P4. Jackster, P5. He takes that run of top 5 finishes and he continues it. P6 for Airways, what a drive from the reserve, from a lower tier. Great job from him. Stu, P7, will be happy with points after his qualifying. 8th for Neil, another reserve from the back of the grid. 9th Dennis Hornet and 10th for Simba on his tier 2 return. Outside the points, Bit, G-Star, Gastian and Ziedamar. Non-finishers, Fox River, Redcar, Melvin, Monster, Captain Nibs and Voice. Well, who was your driver of the day today, Anne?
Well, it would have been Simba for me. But yeah, that won the stake really cost him the chance to fight for the win.
Yes.
Fanning made that bold strategy call. I didn't think it would work. He made it work. He drove great. But we've got Airways in 6th, and in Tier 4 to finish 6th in Tier 2. I think that's an amazing performance. So
Oh yeah.
For two different reasons. I've got two different drivers I want to give the driver of the day to. But yeah, I'd like to give it to Airways, but massive drive from Fanning today.
Let's agree that Airways and Fanning can share it. Great drive from the pair of them. What a cracking job that was. Obviously, congratulations to the other drivers on the podium. That is, of course, Wimax and Lorpy. Mm-hmm. And huge respect to Ben, the G-Star. He led the race, was very confident and competent at the front, leading clearly, and decided, being not his tier, he did not want to take the on-track win from Fanning, who went from P14 to win that race. What a drive that was. Also, let's just point out the top three, all no penalties. Vital, of course, for their positioning, and they actually got Lorpy the podium because he didn't have a penalty. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so fastest lap of the day goes to ZMR, pole sitter and a fastest lap, 12.4. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite make that work in the race. Nevertheless, good drive from him again. And sadly, we had 6 DNS today: Fox, River, Red Car Roman, Melvin, Monster, Captain Dibs, and Error Voice. Well, what an exciting race. We've got Tier 1 action coming up in just 25 minutes. So, if you were excited by that and you're not racing in it, come and join us. You'll be hearing the lovely tones of Baby Hornets. That's Simon and Melvin, also known as Melvin, who will be talking lovely things, hopefully, about us all on the air. Join us for that. But thank you tonight, and thank you all our drivers. Thank you everyone who's jumped in the YouTube chat, and thank you Canada. Have a lovely evening. Au revoir.